Hello, welcome back for day 2 of our winter crush. I already feel like it's super cheesy, but thank you for crushing it with me this winter. The idea behind it, I'm still totally behind, even though it sounds cheesy. So hopefully we can get there together. So today is going to be somewhat mellow. We are going body weight still this whole week, just keeping it minimalist. We are going to work on a 1-minute timer, and we're going to jump pretty much straight into it because it's not super high intensity or getting anything too drastic or crazy. Our body should be able to kind of just run straight into it. And then as we go along, I will be giving alternates if anything doesn't work for you. And also in the write-up at the beginning of the workout, before you clicked on the video, there'll also be kind of some alternates for you to go with. All right, so we are going to go 9-minute rounds. So one round is 9 minutes, and we're going to go for 3 of them, which is why we're going to jump straight in, because it's going to take us 27 minutes. I'm going to try to keep it at 30 for today, after tomorrow or yesterday's kind of longer set. Okay, so first off, our first minute, we are going to go into a lunge. So set up your feet on a railroad track that's hip width. Take your right leg back, belly nice and strong. We're going to lunge and twist. We're going to stay on that same side for 1 minute, okay? So I want you to drop into your lunge and then twist over that front leg. Core is strong, chest is tall. Drive through that front heel. Good job. Whew. Never know what balance is going to be like. So I'm really thinking a lot about where my pelvis is, right? So those big bones in your hips, and that you want to keep pretty neutral and stable, right? So your hips are mobile. You can twist in your hips just a bit. Low back is very stable. It's staying fixed, and you're doing that by contracting around that core, all those torso and trunk muscles. Your chest is going to stay really tall, and the rotation comes through the middle back. You should feel some heat, that front glute. 4, 3, 2, drive through, switch up. No transition time, just going straight into that next minute. So twist, drop, and twist. So I'm watching too. I'm actually using the camera to kind of find my mirror. So I want to make sure that that back hip isn't dropping too much. So pushing more into that front hip flexor is going to keep me more stable in the pelvis and low back. So as you twist, you should feel the obliques light up on the side you're twisting into. 20 seconds left. Drive to the front heel. We want to try to take most of the work off of the quads. You got it. Next up, we're going to do a drinking bird, which is a single leg hip hinge. Okay? So we'll start with, say, our right leg. Plant into your right leg. Look at a spot about 3 feet in front that's not moving. Long spine. You're going to hinge forward, press up. If you are capable of keeping your foot off the ground the whole time, go for it. But it's not worth it if you're flinging all around. And sometimes if you're just starting these or just getting into them, they're very frustrating. It can be quite annoying. And even if you've been doing them a while, sometimes your balance is just off, but don't back off of it. Don't stop just because your balance is off. Try to find it. Get into your mind. Flex to that core. Try to keep a long spine. So from the back of your head through the spine, the tailbone, and then that back leg should be shooting straight back. Bend into that supporting leg just a bit. Okay, there's our first side. Moving on to our next. If you need to set it up, first few may take some time. You can always tap as you get to the top. Core firm. So everything is kind of staying straight, flexed, and strong. And you're just hinging into that front or into that stabilizing hip flexor, right? Driving through the glute and hamstring, the more you bend your knee, the more that you'll grab there. Hold that core. Check in and see where your body's trying to cheat or compensate. Okay, next we're going to do a plank, a push-up to a plank rotation, a side plank rotation. So if you do not plank and if you do not push up, I'll give you your alternate, no worries, okay? So if you're going to plank and push up, you're going to push up, a tight, narrow push up, then rotate, open your arm. Now push up and go to the other side. If you don't push up, I'm going to have you thoracic rotate. Elbow drops and lifts. So this is just going to be 1 minute for the whole round. So let's say do 5 on one side, 5 on the other of your thoracic rotation. Otherwise, push up, pick those hips up, rotate. Elbows squeeze in, push up, core stays strong, open, rotate. If you need, you can always come up on your knees. Your tricep push-up. And maybe a push-up doesn't work, but a plank does. So just rotate side to side. Maybe you don't need to worry about your push-up today. That's fine. You find where you're at, you push to your limit, and be happy you got there. Okay, next up, we're going to do a lateral lunge with a knee tuck. So let's head to our left first. Lateral lunge, tuck your knee up. See if you can get that left knee to tuck in to the opposite right elbow. So if you're doing my mirror image, that's what you're going for. Sink back and down, tuck it across. So you're finding front grab through that core, oblique on that side. 1 minute on this side, 1 minute on the other. When you lunge down, that knee needs to track with the toe. Maybe you don't get too far. That's fine. Keep it higher, narrower. Watch the supporting leg. It needs to stay straight. So now we're going to go the other way. Bend into the right. Tuck that knee across to the left. So watch your straight leg. A lot of times it'll bend to help get you to the top. We want to keep it straight, flexed. You're grabbing that inner thigh. You're building it. You're also building that inner thigh on that grab. But you have to create resistance. So we're not just flipping and flopping our way through the air, creating some drag, some fight, torque. 20 seconds. Next up, we're going to hit a front plank for 1 minute. If you do not plank, you are going to go into a dead bug. And I will show you what that looks like. 3, 2, 1. So if you're planking, forearms down, shoulders over elbows. If you are in a dead bug, push the low back into the ground. Extend opposite arm and leg, keeping lots and lots and lots of flexion through that core. It needs to be tough. You should be able to barely talk your way through it. If you're in a plank, get your shoulder heads super far up over those elbow creases. Push into elbows. Elbows pull back toward toes. Tailbone tucks under. But we're here for the core. Check in, focus, tighten through. Next up is a side plank. If you're in a dead bug, you're going to windshield wiper your knees side to side. If you're in your plank, we'll go 30 seconds on the left, 30 seconds on the right. Tuck in that tailbone, flex deep through the core. There we go. So you'll just rotate and lift into your side plank. If you need to drop the bottom knee, that's fine. I'll call 30 seconds. So from your dead bug, you would go knees bent, drop your knees over. This is your alternate if you're not able to hold a side plank. Side to side. Flexing into that core, keeping your knees pulled together. 5 seconds. Switch to the other side. Ready, set, and go. Rotate to your other side. Push those hips up. Drive the hips forward. Open the chest. So you want to make sure that you're in a position before you get that push-up off the ground where your shoulder is going to be right over your elbow so you can engage the back and it's not just a bunch of pressure on your neck and shoulders. We have 7 seconds and then we're going to pop straight back up for our lunge and twist. Time. 1 round. Nothing too crazy, but it builds. Remember, you are in charge, lunge and twist, of your effort. Granted, some moves are going to cause you to have to work a little harder, just organically, than others. But in this, what can you do? What would you do different if you're holding heavy weight? Contract deep into that belly. Push through that front heel. Kind of create tension between that back heel, your front heel and your back toe. Check in with those hips. Keep them level. 10 seconds. Front glute pushes you up. Maybe you can go faster. Switch. Pace is great, as long as you can keep those flexions. Some things, it's better to go slower on. Some things, great to go fast on. Flex all the way to the top of that lunge. Feel that belly button draw back, bracing around your core. Core lifts. Flexes, grabs. Deep drive through that glute in the front. Next up is our drinking bird. Remember, twist through that mid back. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I'm going to go my opposite leg forward first. Find that spot in front to focus on. What's going on with that back hip? You should be keeping that pelvis level. I don't know if you can feel or not if you were to lift. Yeah. Check in. You need to become aware of your body. Maybe today, if this is your second workout, maybe you're not completely aware. That's okay. You'll get there. But try to find connections. Over time, may take a year, who knows? But check in. Notice what the body's doing. Squeeze those shoulder blades back. It's not about reaching for the ground. It's about really hinging through that hamstring and glute. Okay, switch sides. You'll become aware of which side you have to work a little bit harder with, where you have to focus more. I have to watch, though. I've gotten accustomed in my brain to tell myself, what is my weaker side? And then I expect it. So I'm trying to rewire my brain to just work. Don't think, oh, this is my weak side, because I'm limiting myself, I think. Some stuff, it means I need to watch out for discrepancies or compensations. But most of the time, I just need to get into the work. Okay, our push-ups and plank rotations are next. Remember, you're going to do your thoracic rotation otherwise. Find your plank. Find your tricep push-up. Flex deep. Push up through those obliques. Rotate. It's all about keeping those hips, that low back stable, right? Pelvis neutral. Elbows squeeze in. Find your triceps. Hopefully the hips come up with your shoulders. Otherwise, remember, drop on your toes, come up on your knees, then rotate. You could also stay on your knees the whole time. 8 seconds. Then we're going to do our lateral lunge and tuck. Coming up, I'm going to head to my left, your right first this time. Lunge over, tuck up. Remember, find that resistance, find that drag. Your range is up to you. Your pace is up to you. We're here for a minute, so you push into where you're at, keeping form. Cross tuck, find that oblique to grab. Wrap around that core first, then push from there. Knee wide with toe. Time, other side. Step to the left, tug to the right. Cross. Lifted chest, tall spine. Grab deep in that oblique. Front of the belly. Uh-oh. Watch that straight leg. Getting flappy. 15 seconds. Hang in, push. Okay, plank or dead bug. Elbows down, shoulder heads just up past the elbow crease. Feel your thighs kind of wrap. Check in with your low back. So a lot of times I see the hips dropped. So you need to pull those hips up, walk your toes in a little, and then tuck the belly, taking your pelvis and tucking it backward. And then you should feel the low back flatten, so you're not sagging there, and the belly tighten. 7 seconds. We're going to go to our first side, or you start your windshield wipers for the minute. And go. Stack shoulder over the elbow. Envision you have a string on that top hip pulling. Then envision you have a push from that top arm down. So that should help encourage flexion through the back. 3, 2. So we're going to go to our other side, and your windshield wipers stay there. The last round, I'm going to join you all. If you're whoever's doing dead bug and windshield wipers, we'll hit them up together. Drive that hip up. So hopefully you can see that top elbow, or I'm sorry, your top shoulder, right in line, top hip. Flex through that oblique. Open the chest. Grab those thighs. 3, 2, 1. Lunge and twist. Square off those hips. Focus. Grabbing the core. Pushing through the front glute. Front knee lines with the toe when you're at the bottom of your lunge, you should be able to see your big toe on that front leg. That front leg is in charge, and the core is holding steady. Knee right on top of the ankle. 3, 2, and 1. Switch. Get that full press to that front leg. Stable low back, super strong core. Knee tracks toward the pinky toe side of the foot. Belly button, draw strong. Find your intensity, your level of push. Drinking birds are nice. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, my left leg was just forward, so I'm going to start with my right leg, supporting leg. Long, long spine. Hopefully those hips staying level. I like to use the camera sometimes for mirror, but then I fall over because my head is wonky. If you have access to a mirror to use, I would highly encourage it. You'll get better workouts, you'll get better tone, less injuries, and you can be encouraged by visualizing reality of what your body can do. Helps teach you to appreciate your body, its strength, switch, poise, and even some days when we fall all over the place, find grace, take a deep breath, and try again. That knee still tracking with the toe. It may want to go in or out. Bend deep through that hip crease. Make sure, hopefully, as you get all the way down, your back, butt, and leg are pretty much in a straight line, right? So your back leg isn't extending way far overhead. It's not pinching around to twist. It's going straight back. Push up to plank rotations, or your thoracic rotations are next. You still can build a ton of heat in those thoracic rotations. Tell you what, I'll do them with you. Inhale to lift, exhale tuck. So you got to keep those hips level. Core strong. You're still wrapping into that tricep. You're flexing into the thighs. Okay, switch to your other side. Sometimes when you need adjustments, you can feel like you're less than or not as strong, or be a little bit frustrated that you can't do the real thing. These right here, you could end up even stronger and better off than the rest of us because you're getting flexion through that thoracic spine, which the rest of us forget about a lot and leave behind. Lateral lunge and tuck. Okay. Lunge to your left, tuck to your right. Last round. Easy to want to back off. Let's try to set into it even more. The body's well warmed up, well wakened up. Sat back far. Ugh. Where's that right leg? Keep it strong. Keep it straight. 10 seconds. Hang in. Time. Other leg. Hinge to the right. Tuck to the left. Ooh. It's good. I'm starting to feel my calf grab. Full body's working. Lots of reps. Body weight totally adds up. Super healthy. Super effective. Straight, strong leg. That's your supporting pivot leg. Knee lines with toe. There we go. Losing some of my oomph on a twist. Tuck and drag. Last is going to be our plank. I'm going to do the dead bug with you. If you want to stay in plank though, stay with it. If you are doing a plank, hopefully you've had an opportunity to hit a dead bug before in your life, because this is a great awareness to build for what should be going on with that low back. Like I was talking about in our last round, we want to pull that low back up by tucking the pelvis. So we're doing the same thing here, pressing the low back into the ground and keeping it there. As we move, flex and scoop through that low belly. Okay, windshield wipers or your side plank. I'll watch our time. So if you're in a side plank, you can switch at 30. Bent knee or straight legs. Going side to side, it's up to you. But keep that flexion across the core. So oblique, low back. Okay, turn to your other side. If you're in a side plank, remember, drive those hips up. Flex through that back muscle behind your armpit. These feel awesome. Tuck it in. Keep those knees together. Keep those feet flexed back so your legs are in flexion, right? Watch out that your feet aren't falling in as you go side to side. Time. Whew. All right. Well done, well done. We made it through. Let's get our stretch. So we're going to start off on your back. Put your arms wide in a T. Left leg out in front. Tuck your right knee in and then rotate it over. And then we'll go back through our trifecta stretch in a second just so you guys can remember. But eventually, I'll skip those sometimes after our workout so we can get other stretches, because hopefully you'll handle those 3 on your own. Okay, bring that leg in. Same leg, so your right leg that you just twisted over, cross that ankle over your left knee. Pull your left leg towards you. Flex both feet. Dig your right elbow into the chest. I'm sorry, right elbow into the right knee. Drive that low back into the ground. Open across your chest. All right, we're going to go to the other side. So right leg extends onto the ground. Arms in a T, so the palms are on the ground. And then you're going to rotate that left knee over. Ooh, I don't know if you can see or not. So my left shoulder is coming off the ground way more than my right was. So I'm tight on this side for sure, but drive that left shoulder into the ground. may mean that you have to back off your twist a little. That's fine. Alrighty. Left ankle on top of your right knee. Flex both feet. Pull from behind that right thigh. Check in and see if you can tell whether or not you're still lined up, right? So can you keep both your hips on the ground? Is your body starting to twist or wiggle? And maybe pulling into the chest doesn't quite look like what mine looks like. If you're tight, your knee will be way up here, the other leg way out. Maybe your right leg stays on the ground, and that's okay. And you can kind of push that left knee away. And maybe this is enough of a stretch for you. All right, let's flip over. Start with your downward facing dog. Slide those hips up and back. Then you're going to bring your body forward, bring your left leg outside your left hand, drop that right knee for now, and then hinge into that hip flexor. So left knee right on top of the left foot, and then you decide if you want to keep the knee lifted or if you want to drop it on the ground. Let those hips drop in. Check in with the rest of the body, neck relaxed. If you kind of hug your inner thighs toward one another a little bit, you can get a better hip flexor stretch. It's crazy, all the little tweaks and maneuvers you can make to change things up. Drop onto that back knee. We're going to walk our hands back. So the toe's going to come up in the front. You may be up. That's cool. Find that hamstring stretch. Hamstring is the underneath side, the top of the thigh. So the top of the leg, back side of the leg, that top in the back. We all pretty much have tight hamstrings and hip flexors, especially if you sit much or anything. But if you think about it, we also get tight hip flexors, can kind of aggravate the back, even with exercise. So if you bike or spin a lot, squat a lot, okay, you're going to take that left foot across your mat, then walk your hands forward. So the knee's going to bend. And maybe this is your stretch. So if your hips are pretty high, that's okay. See your face. So if your leg ends up on the ground, shin may be on the ground, and your hips may be pretty high, that's fine. Because all that matters is that you're getting that stretch in through that glute. Then if you have more, you can slowly walk your hip back, your knee back until those hips get closer to the ground. And then if you want, you can go all the way onto your forearms, like that. All right, push into those hands. We'll switch to the other side. Up into that glute bridge. I'm sorry, up into your downward facing dog. My brain is leaving me. Bring your right leg forward. Drop the knee first to start, and then depending on how that feels, go ahead and feel free to lift the back knee. Let those hips sink. Remember, kind of hugging those thighs in toward the midline, toward each other, can sometimes help get a better stretch. Hopefully you're doing well with your challenges so far this week. Pull that front toe up, pull the right hip back. Reach the chest toward your toes, trying to keep your back mostly flat. A lot of times I share my challenges with the family, depending on whether or not it will take away from the benefit it serves me. I have no problem being selfish with my health and wellness and mental state, emotional wellness, and it makes me a better person overall for my family, for my friends. So be selfish. They'll actually appreciate the fact that you're selfish sometimes. But all right, let's hit that pigeon. So take your foot across. But it's fun to incorporate them in. So it's fairly easy to get my daughter to hit up a 5-minute yoga set with me. Helps build some good habits for her. So depending on what you're doing and where you're at, maybe bring a few extra people along. It doesn't have to be a family, maybe friends. And maybe not. Maybe it's just you. It's all good. All right, push into those hands. Let's put your knees wide, big toes together. Hinge the hips back over the heels. Stretch those arms way out in front. Take 3 deep focused breaths. Every time you breathe out, you help reduce stress, encouraging that parasympathetic nervous system. All right, good work. We got 2 days down. Thank you for joining me. See you tomorrow.